The next thing you're going to do in RobotC is you are going to name the motors and sensor setup. So I want you to go here where it says motors and sensor setup. And what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through this little by little. I'm going to go to a new screen. I want these names on the motors and sensor setup. So you can watch me if you want, because I'm going to make this test bed run with those names. Okay, so if you want to do it with me, you're more than welcome. So the line follower, I'm going to need to take my line follower, and it tells me to go to my analog, which is up here on my cortex, which is right here. And they say put line follower and put it in spot number 1. So very carefully, like these tiny little prongs, I gotta make sure it goes in the right way. We're gonna put the potentiometer in number 2. Potentiometer, that's this one. Here's my potentiometer. I have to very carefully put it in number 2. Then my light sensor, so this little guy over here. I need to put it in number 3. And then we're going to move through this list. Now I'm going to show you how to type this in your program. So here we are, RobotC. I showed you how to get here. Let's see, we are on analog. So up here, you're going to do VEX 2.0 analog sensors 1 through 8. And in input 1, we're going to type it identical to how we see it right here. So type with me. Now when I say identical, I also mean, where did it go? When I say identical, I mean like literally identical. Poopy scoopy, where'd it go? Okay, so we're going to do no space. Capital L on line, capital F on follower. Input 2. Capital on potentiometer. Poten. One good spelling. Potentiometer. Input 3. What do we do? Light sensor. So capital L. Make sure you spelled everything right. Now you're going to tell them what kind. So this one's going to be a line follower. This one's going to be a potentiometer. This one's going to be a light sensor. Now I have to go back to here, and I have to put everything in the right spot. So I'm going to move to my digital inputs and outputs limit switch. So that's this cord. I want this to go in number 1 of my digital. So there's like a whole extra section here. It says digital and it says number 1. Oh, this is always so hard for me to count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's number 1. Oh, yeah, but I missed it. It is not easy to see these things. Oh, did I miss it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Down 1. There we go. Okay, I got it. Number 1. The bump switch goes next. Number 2, move all the little itty bitty cords out of my way. The upper encoder, does it say upper and lower? Of course it does not. Why would it? This looks like the upper. The upper goes in number 3. So the encoder has 2 cords coming from it. The lower goes in number 4. Okay, the ultrasonic in and out go in 5 and 6. Ultrasonics over here. These ones are labeled. If you are interested, the in has a yellow cord to it, and the out has an orange. I don't know if you see a difference. So the in needs to go in number 5. Oh my goodness. Whee! The out needs to go in number 6. Now we're going to go back to RobotC. Maybe you've already done it. Fast forward through me if you need to. Come on. See, this is why I like you guys to build these, because I get to laugh at you instead of you laughing at me. Okay, now what we're going to do is go back to here. And let's see, that was under the digital. So we're going to digital. Number 1 was called, let's type it identical. Maybe you want to pause the screen. Limit switch, capital L, capital S. Number 2 was bump switch, capital B, capital S. BS. Okay, sorry. Bump switch. Digital 3 was the encoder. And I'm going to go ahead and name this limit switch as a limit switch. Oh, is it a, let me see, I forget what it is. Oh, I gotta look at what the switch is. I'll pause the video. Okay, the encoder is certainly an encoder, single wire. I think this, now I really do need to look at this. Let's take a look at what 4 is. Don't type anything in 4 for a second, please. On number 5, please type in ultrasonic. And then give me a second. Pause the video because I know there's something weird that happens here. So pause. Okay, so the encoder is a quad encoder. The limit switch is a touch, and the bump switch is a touch. The ultrasonic is sonar. There you go. And we'll do it in inches. You can do it in any of those, but I don't know what raw is. Don't do raw. I know centimeters, millimeters, inches. All right, and that's everything there. Okay, let's see where else we are. We are on here. So over here, I already have I did have it and I tore it out because I got angry with it. Okay, flashlight goes here. Like this. Done. You know, I'm taking this off. I've never liked these. Okay, maybe that one wants to stay in. You can stay in. I let you. Okay, so flashlight goes here. Number 1, the right motor, which I want you guys to see what I had to do to get it to be programmed in. You make it a 3-wire. So see, it was a 2-wire here, and then I used a conversion to make it into a 3-wire. And that's going to go in my motor snout. So right motor goes in number 1. We're all going to have the same capitalization. Or excuse me, right motor goes in number 2. Left motor, I had to do the same thing. Oh my. Just a couple of things to deal with. There it is. It goes in number 3. Aha! And servo motor. Servo motors are already 3 wires. It goes in number 9. Okay. Sure. Why wouldn't it? Okay. Number 9. Trains. Isn't that in Cool Runnings? Come on, little buddy. Boom. Got it. Okay. Oh, and my little green LED. Hold on. Gotta get my. Hello, little bag of lights. Got him. Okay, that goes. Oh, I totally forgot about that in the digital, didn't I? Okay, so green little guy, he goes in number 12 over here. Way over here, number 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There he goes. Go. Got him. Ooh, and he even lights up. He looks like he's crooked, but I don't think he is. I got him. Okay. Oh, can you see? Look, he lit up. Little green light right there. He's all lit up. I don't know. There's 10,000 cords in there. All right. So we're going to go back to this. What was that? Number 12. So what do they want us to call it? Green LED, all capital, no space. Oh, thank you. Green LED. That's how we're going to call it. And come on, little buddy. Just a little light. Stop annoying me. Oh, Vex LED. Okay. Now we're going to go to motors before my computer shuts off. And motors we're going to call flashlight, right motor, left motor, servo motor. Okay, flashlight number 1. Use my same caps. Right motor, left motor, And number 9, servo motor. Make sure I match with this. Servo motor, left motor, yes, flashlight. Let's go back and name them before my computer dies. So this one's going to be flashlight. Flashlight might not put no motor. I'm not sure what to put for flashlight. I will look. Oh, you put the one that says flashlight. Right motor 393, left motor 393, and servo motor is a servo motor. Come on, 3-wire servo. Hit apply. Hit OK. I'm going to pause the screen. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a little bit about how stuff works. You can't do this because you're not connected and stuff, but under robot, you would want to make sure that the communication mode, you have VEX, NET, or USB. You would make sure that under platform type, you have VEX 2.0 Cortex and Natural Language Project Lead the Way. And then after all that's done, you would hit robot and compile and download. Now, I don't actually have a program right now, so like nothing on this is going to happen right now, but I'm going to show you how I can mess around with it to make stuff happen. So let's just hope that that is true. Okay, so I should be able to I'm just going to hit start. Things are going to start running. Ready? So I am going to down here, see where it says flashlight power? I'm going to change the power. I can make the flashlight be whatever I want. Flashlight, where'd you go? Here it is. Okay, so the flashlight is hooked up. We've got green lights on the Cortex indicating that things are working. Hopefully you can see right here, we've got some green lights flashing. So what I'm going to show you now is how the flashlight works. So on flashlight, I'm going to change the power to 50. And I'm going to, I have 500. I'm going to hit enter, but I want you to see nothing happens. So my flashlight must be in reverse. So what I'm going to actually do is hit -50. And when I hit enter, there you go. You can see it's at 50% power. Now, what I can do is I can make that very dim. Let me change it to -10. And I want you to watch how the brightness goes down. Okay. And if you change it to -100, which I do believe is the highest it goes, shine this right at you. Boom. It's really bright. So let me turn the flashlight off to 0. Oh, my. Oh, that's still not doing it, Amy. 0. Flashlight's off. And then there's also an off button on here that you can turn it on and off. Sometimes I see kids have struggled with that. Now, since we're on the motors area, so to you, this is the left and this is the right. I'm going to show you how to turn each one on individually just to test and make sure that you're good to go. So let's test the right motor. Now, motors can spin, I believe, up to 127 is their max. So let's put it at half. Let's do about 60 on each of them. I'm going to get my hair out of the way. You ready? That turned the right motor on at half. Now I'm going to turn the left motor on half and at negative. So you can see negatives work. It just spins in reverse. So they're both running. So if I want them to be quiet, I turn them to 0. I have tested that they are working. Done. Now the servo motor, I forget the exact values. We'll look over that in a PowerPoint. I want you to see the servo motor goes from one way to the other. So I'll just type in 100 and watch it spin. And I will make it go now to 0. It will go back to its original position. Now, let's try 360. Who knows what happens? Oh, it's like, no, thank you. Oh, 127. 127 is its max out. So servos go to 127. Okay. Maybe, I forget the speed that you can take motors to. Maybe motors don't go to 127. That's all on a little PowerPoint. It's not that important. So let me turn it back to 0. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble seeing the screen. The next thing we're going to do is let's go to local variables. Let's see what nothing under there. Global, nothing under there. Compiler errors. Of course, there's errors because, I need to get rid of that. There we go. Let's go to sensors because we have some stuff going on in the sensors. Now, if you notice right now, if I pull this down, you should see that the little itty bitty green light is not on. We'll make sure we turn him on. I'm sorry, and I know I should be using my other thing. So line follower. Line follower is this item right here. Okay, so you can see that, get a white piece of paper. Supposedly, I don't like the line follower, by the way. Maybe it's because I don't know how it works exactly. If I pass this over it, look at the value of the line follower. It should be changing. It would change if like, especially if I had like a big black line down it, that's the line follower. Now if I cover up the line follower, you can see, wow, such a drastic change, right? So like dark, so you guys can see that I'm covering it up. Okay. One that I find to be a lot of fun is let's just do the potentiometer. Potentiometer is over here. Here's an empty one. So what I had to do is stick something down in there so I could turn it. It's right here now. Please look at the value of the potentiometer as I turn it. Right now it's at its max at 4095. So watch me turn it. Look very gently. I cannot turn it this way anymore. So I'm going to turn it this way. You should see the value. Hopefully the potentiometer is changing. I'm going to go all the way. Notice, boom, I'm going to stop at 0. All right, so there's how the potentiometer works. So boink, 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 boink. Now you might say, what the heck is this? The point of that? You can actually change like the speed of a motor. You could say like, hey, I want the speed of my motor to be 1/5 of whatever my potentiometer is. So if you want your motor to go really fast, you jack up that potentiometer. If you want your motor to go slow, you put the potentiometer back down. So it can control the speed. Let's look at the light sensor. Now, light sensors are great for turning on and off flashlights. So you have those in your car if you have automatic lights. You have light sensors, you might not even just know where they are. This is so cool. So I have my flashlight right now at 0, and I don't have a program right, and so I really can't do anything. Okay, but this is your light sensor right here. I know, guys, this is so hard not to be in person. I apologize. This is the light sensor. It looks like this. Its job is to sense light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up your light sensor, and I'd like you to look at the value of your light sensor. So everybody note, please, what the value of the light sensor is right now. It's at 127. Now let's say that I turn off the lights and it gets dark. Well, look at that. The light sensor goes up the darker it gets. I have my dining room lights on. I'm going to turn it off. So everybody ready? Got 127 right now. So what do we drop to when I turned off my lights? Oh, wow, we dropped to 378. Here, look, I'll close. I have sheer curtains. Let me shut the curtains. Anything more? Good, it dropped it even 400. Now let's say I drop the blinds. Boom. I dropped the blinds. It's pretty dark in here. We're at 600. So you can see that the light sensor, the light sensor senses light. Now, again, what could that be helpful for? That could be super helpful in the case that we're like, hey, I would like to turn my flashlight on at a certain level for when it gets dark. Okay, next. Let's look at the limit switch. So this is the limit switch, this little guy right here. He's hooked up in here somewhere. Here's a blank copy of a limit switch. This is one that goes like ding, 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 ding. Okay, so a limit switch, let's look at it right now. It's not being pushed, it's at 0. So if I set everything up right, look how when I clicked it, it turns to a 1. All right, let's do the bump switch. This is the bump switch. When it's not clicked at 0, did it change to 1? Uh-oh. That's not what you want to see. It should be changing to a 1. All right, Mr. Bump Switch, do I have you plugged in nice and tight? I do. So something is going on with my bump switch. Limit switch is good. Bump switch, no good. Oh, wait, there. I had to push harder. Rawr! There you go. So when I hit my bump switch, it turns to a 1. The quad encoder is this little guy. It tells you how many times it turns. So you can see now 11 is not 11 turns. It's essentially like a degree. So when I get to 360, that's 1 turn. Okay, so let me get it to 0, or at least as close as I can. And I'm going to turn it 1 time. That's close enough to 0. So we're looking at our encoder right here where my mouse is. I'm going to turn it 1 turn. At least I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try my best to get it 1 turn. Okay? When I get to 1 turn, hopefully it's at 360. Am I right or am I crazy? Yeah, it's about 360 now. I eyed it up, okay? Like I was like, oh, it's about 1 turn. So there you go. So you can see one turn is equal to 360. What could that be good for? Well, I know, like when I built my elevator, when I was doing my Project Lead the Way class, like I could have said like, hey, I want this to turn so many times because that would like raise the elevator using a shaft and like maybe like a spin, like a cable wind up. All right, ultrasonic is this little guy here. Now, what I want you to know is we are in inches, and right now this ultrasonic is saying that there is something 30 inches above it. Take a look. There sure is something about 30 inches above it. Is my lights. And this right here is the ultrasonic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in at about 5 inches. Notice how it dropped. I'm going to move my hand. Now something important to realize about the ultrasonic rangefinder is that it works in a cone shape. So it starts here, but it gets wider and wider and wider and wider as it goes. Okay. So right now it's reading my lights. Let's see. I'm going to try to move it away from my lights. But again, we're in a cone, so it might still pick up my lights. It's still picking up my lights. Let me move it up. Yeah, so it's still picking things up because it's an oopsie. Oh, I forgot that was hanging. Oopsie, what? Oh dear. Oh, that's just loose. But I think we walked through everything on here. So that kind of gives us somewhere to start on and to play with. So your goal today is to watch this video, to do the file save as, I forget what I ended up calling mine. File save as, I have it in my Project Lead the Way folder. I know that. That's exactly what, yeah. I called it the COVID-19 folder. And I'm going to call this my setup. I'm going to save it over top of this. Yes, you guys, I want you to do the same thing. Please make sure you have your motors and analog and all that stuff set up.